So, I was gonna go over some of the Diablo.
So right off the bat, that was an obnoxious ass start to this video. So let's see. This is supposed to be some more stuff about Diablo 4's crafting system. I plan on playing Diablo 4, so I'm kind of invested in seeing what this is. So let's try to see what this guy's got dug up, and we'll kind of give our thoughts and react to it, right?
4 news. Diablo 4 crafting. Is it on Twitter maybe? Oh, it's on Wowhead. I think it was on Wowhead. Why is it on Wowhead?
I knew this was Wowhead. I knew this was Wowhead info, so that's why I was like, it'd be easier just to do it this way.
Live. Where did they get this from? New Diablo 4 vendors and crafting guides now live.
Okay.
Well, I don't know why they call it a guide. That's interesting. There's
I agree. It's probably not a guide if the game's not live.
actually a lot of text in those buttons. In like this. Oh my god. Oh.
It's a lot
okay. With the
Okay,
demonic
let's get through
forces
this.
of pandemonium charging towards the release of D4 on June 6th. So 3 months away.
Right.
Holy. So this is the crafting material overview. Everything
Okay.
you need to know about crafting materials in Diablo 4. Herbs are found throughout Sanctuary. They are used at the alchemist to upgrade potions, brews, elixirs, and crafting incense.
See, I mean, this seems like a normal game thing, right?
Alright, so there's different areas with different herbs, and they can use, there's potions, elixirs. So there's a bunch of different, so this is like, what, like WoW then?
It kind of reminds me of like RuneScape.
Is this kind of like WoW? They have gathering.
Okay.
So fun.
So skins.
I mean, okay, so the use of gathering in an MMO is about world exploration, right? That's the purpose of a gathering in MMOs
The purpose of gathering in MMOs is to increase playtime.
is to go to a region, explore the region. It's about creating this
That's
narrative
what
of a
that's
world,
what it's
right?
for.
That is
And to like have the bots get paid.
totally an MMO thing. That is not an RPG thing at all. So that's interesting.
I mean, you do gathering in other RPG games. It's just not focused on it. Like, you do a little bit of gathering. It's not grindy.
This basically confirms they're trying to go for the MMO angle, right? Like, will we be able to trade? Will there be like an economy based on gathering? Because like in WoW, you could literally just do gathering as like a profession.
I don't imagine that there's going to be an economy for it because Diablo's already kind of mentioned that they're not planning on having much of a trade system, or the trade system's going to be limited. Until they say that they're planning on the trade system being unlimited for everything except for gear. So hopefully the resource gathering isn't going to be like a giant grind.
You could literally
Especially if it's only for you.
gather and make currency, right? Does this mean we'll have professions that, like, the true way of telling this is an MMO versus an RPG would be, do we have like professions that we can level?
It's an MMO if it's called an MMO. That's not a... Yeah, no.
Do you have to do this once per character? Like, are these consumable? Like,
No, you get like 1 iron ore and you can use it forever. I imagine that... No. I imagine that you probably have to go farm these for upgrades or whatever, but I'm hopeful that it's not going to be some mass time sink.
are potions and elixirs and shit, are they consumable?
The potions are non-consumable. They're suppositories. And I mean, in all actuality, I mean, obviously the potions are consumables. That's sort of the definition.
Yeah, they are
Sort of the
consumable?
definition of
Okay.
it. I mean, that's...
Huh. So this would be like
Now, the question would be, are they more than one-time use?
if you want to do like a world boss, or if you want to do like a hard, like an end-game dungeon or some bullshit or whatever it is, you have to farm elixirs, basically.
Well, they're in-game content. Like, you shouldn't be able to just walk into in-game content without taking in-game stuff, right? Like, you shouldn't be able to walk into in-game content with no potions, no elixirs, no upgraded gear. So, I mean, yeah, you're probably going to need all
Like,
those
for
things.
example, you'll have a guy who does potions, you'll have a guy that does leather, you'll have a guy that does metalworking, right? You'll have someone who mines, someone who herbs, someone who skins.
This is all based on the assumption that those are going to be tradable, when Diablo has already said that there's not going to be a big trading system. So we'll have to wait and see if that makes sense.
I don't think that's how it's going to work in D4, though. I think everyone's going to have to do everything. Which is why I was asking...
I imagine
are
you'll
these
have to do it
consumables?
all.
Because if they're consumables, are you telling me that before I do a dungeon, I have to go into the world and then farm leather, ore, and herbs?
I feel like you will only need this stuff when you're trying to either punch above your weight class or doing like super high tier content. I don't feel like you're going to need them for like daily grinding. And more than likely, my guess would be that some of these will drop in dungeons. Yeah, I know, right, Mishi? Like you'll actually have to go out and do things on your own. It's tragic.
I just want to read the salvage bit now. Can be used for item upgrades, rerolling. So this is how you get crafting materials. Obtained by using the occultist to salvage night materials, veiled crystals. Used to alter the magic of things. Used to improve legendaries. What does improving mean?
People have gotten too spoiled with things. Yeah, I've talked about this before. I think even myself, I'm kind of guilty of, right? The way society has went, it's so easy to just expect everything right now. And then with video games, everybody wants to be the next content creator. Everybody wants to be the next big thing. So like everybody wants to be able to get everything and do everything and be the best. And it's just now, and shit doesn't work that way. And the more that games push to allowing people to go now, or pay to go now, it creates games that are just unsustainable and people burn out and get bored and just move on.
Sacred and ancestral items, forgotten souls. These are ancient and primal ancient. So these are just the materials, these are the systems. So let's read the systems. So the Alchemist is a new addition to the Diablo franchise and upgrade your health. So this is their potion system basically. The Alchemist lets you upgrade your health potion. So this is just like unlocking it over time, right?
For the potions though, I mean, it looks like you get a basic health potion, you can just upgrade them.
Doesn't even seem like it's that big of a deal maybe, because it's percentage based, but depends how much the flat matters, I guess.
It needs to be percentage based. With a game that has like such like an infinite leveling system, you don't want it to be flat numbers. You always want it to be percent based.
This is a bit meh to me. I don't dislike this, but I don't like it. It's just like, it's okay, you know?
I mean, just don't put yourself in a position where you're going to get insta-gibbed. I mean, like, is it nice to heal 100% of your health instantly? Yeah, but I mean, 3 seconds. I mean, I get it. We need to see it in game.
Temporary buffs to your stats. There are many different elixirs. So this is the big thing, right?
All right, so what's this say? One effect shared by that item is they boost your XP gain. There can only be one elixir active at a time. That's the thing you got to pay attention to. You're going to find elixirs that you use per character. You're not gonna make all of them.
This is the consumables that we'll have to farm. Like, if this is weak, I assume there'll be like a powerful version of the same thing. 30 minutes. I mean, I guess we knew stuff like this was coming, right? This is what
that's a lot.
MMOifying an RPG.
And I mean, it's his understanding, but I don't think that they're MMOifying the RPG. I think they're trying to lean more into the live service, in the living world that every major game is kind of moving towards. A lot of people prefer the half hour because they don't want to commit to an hour, right? That's why a lot of things are broken to half hours, because a lot of gamers can't commit to an hour. Like streamers, content creators, we all want things to last for 5 hours, but the reality is most average gamers don't play 5-hour sessions like we do.
I want to know if you can trade consumables. Can I get Twitch chat to farm these for me? Not that I want to do that, but
he wants to do that.
Alright, so this is actual crafting now. I mean, the potion system. I feel like the alchemist system is just about world exploration. It's like, whatever. What about blacksmith? This is big dick, right? This is actual item crafting, right? Actual? Yeah. Topics include crafting, upgrading, salvaging, and repairing. Oh shit, they're bringing back repairing gear, chat. I heckin' love repairing gear. The blacksmith has a...
Repairing gear is like such a controversial thing, right? It's literally just to pull money out of an economy and to like burn resources.
Similar role to previous installments.
But if there's no open world crafting, you don't need to pull money out of the game, so you could probably just get rid of it.
But with a further expanded toolkit than the counterpart in D3. They can salvage items into crafting materials, repairing your gear, upgrading your armors and weapons in exchange for crafting materials and gold. The ability to craft armor and weapons was not available, but the in-game description is lets you craft.
So just use it until it breaks and get another one? Yeah, or just repair it. I mean, as long as it takes like longer to break than it does to do a dungeon, you're fine. Do they not break in game? No, they would break.
Craft armor and weapons.
Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and weapons. Craft armor and
Your items can also be upgraded multiple times for crafting materials in gold. How often you can do this depends on the item's rarity. Upgrading an item increases its affixes, including the base stats. This makes upgrading weapons especially useful since class skills also scale based on weapon damage. Salvaging an item will give you crafting materials based on the item rarity and item type.
So salvaging is just breaking down the item. It'll give you the crafting materials to work on other ones. Then you get your gem back though.
So this is literally just D3 salvaging, right?
Right.
Gear loses durability on death.
From what it looks like here, it's your gear is going to lose 10% durability per death. So as long as you don't die 10 times in whatever zone you're in, you should be okay. I mean, I would rather you lose 10% durability per death than you drop a corpse and then have to go back to it.
I don't know what the upgrading thing is. It sounds to me like
He just explained what the upgrading thing was. So from reading that, it upgrades the items affixes. So the base stats of the armor or the weapon. So if it's a 100 damage weapon and you upgrade it, it might go to like 110 damage, right? Or it might go to from 100 defense to 110. And then if it has like +5 strength, that +5 strength might go to +6 strength. That's the way I'm reading this.
the Wowhead jeweler crafting covers, blah, 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 blah. The basics. The jeweler has a similar role to previous installments. They can craft jewelry and gems, add sockets to gear, unsocket gems, upgrade jewelry in exchange for crafting materials. Here we go, crafting gems. Crafting and socketing gems into gear with open sockets will make a return in the tried and true fashion.
Yeah, so I imagine like different gems are gonna have different perks. I mean, if you're curious what each stat is or whatever, you can just go to Wowhead and look up what they're assuming it is based on like now, right?
And then scatter prisms can add sockets to gear.
So scatter prisms can be used to add sockets to your gear. You only need one prism to add a socket, which can drop from world bosses.
Except it works on everything. Nothing they've said so far has been pay to win. So I don't think, hopefully we're not going to get any sort of pay to win at all. Time gated by world bosses though.
But I mean, right now they're not even talking about how you acquire, like they're not saying that you can't buy any of this in the Blizzard shop, right? Like he's just making the assumption, right or wrong, that you can't buy the access to some of these items from a world boss. Like it says the scatter prism drops from world bosses, but that doesn't mean that you won't find them in the Blizzard shop, right? We're only assuming that for now.
The cultist lets you extract a legendary
All right, what do we got here?
From a legendary item into a legendary aspect, destroying the item. Aspects are legendary powers that impact your play. The Codex of Power is a separate collection of all legendary aspects that were unlocked by completing specific dungeons for the first time. The aspect of Overwhelming Bolts. Charged bolts can 2 extra projectiles, but also have increased mana cost, unlocked by completing the Wretched Delve and Scot's Glen. So these are
okay,
like
so they're just going to be different ways to change the way you play, right? So these are all like min-maxing items
by exploring the world, essentially.
I mean, that's what I'm getting from this. This is just how to min-max.
Powers from dungeon. Yeah, this is different. And this is like some actual meat and bones content for D4, huh? The Codex of Power is a collection of all legendary aspects. Legendary aspects are legendary powers that impact the way you play and might enable certain playstyles. Are these closer to...
So the Codex of Power is a collection of all legendary aspects that were unlocked by completing specific dungeons for the first time. Okay.
Or the Kanai Cube in terms of power, you think? How many aspects on the Codex can you have? These can be imprinted on rare and legendary items at the Occultist. Okay,
so it's an upgrade that you can put on gear, is what I'm getting from this.
Here we go. Item to be modified, the Codex's power or aspect.
All right.
Oh, it is like the cube then, except it's like the cube, but it applies on gear. So you can either get an aspect from your inventory, or you have the access to the Codex, which has like, you can apply these.
And the aspect from your inventory is probably from breaking down specific weapons and making them into an aspect, right? Because it seems like the Codex ones you get from completing dungeons, and the other ones you would get from weapon drops, and then you'd be able to carry them that way.
Through dungeons, while these are ones that you obtain from actual legendaries. The Codex is lower value, and gear from inventory can be higher. Oh, it can be the same, but the ones from your inventory are a bit better. The Codex gives you a great way to target and obtain build-enabled legendary powers for your character. However, it does come with some limitations. Individual affixes from a legendary aspect will always have the lowest possible rolls. Not all legendary aspects will be available to the Codex of Power.
Makes sense.
So amulets can have every single aspect category and they're boosted. And then other slots like pants can only be defensive. They're actually giving us... Is this all... Holy shit. Okay, hold the phone. Hold the phone. These assets can be used on all classes.
So they're listing all the aspects, like...
Oh my god, okay. This is like a hint at what builds will be like, right? Here we go, so this is the map system. You can craft different tiers of randomized nightmare sigils maps at the occultist. Nightmare sigils are used to transform dungeons into more challenging nightmare dungeons. Each normal sigil corresponds to a specific dungeon. The difficulty tiers are tied to the nightmare sigils, which also determine the rarity of item drops. Dungeon afflictions are also found in sigils, which will customize the dungeons affecting them. Tiers 1 to Thrive gives you 3 afflictions, requires a world tier 3, powder and gold. Oh, so this is like what, white maps, yellow maps, and red maps, I guess? And it just keeps
tier 100, like, afflictions 5.
Unwanted nightmare sigils can be salvaged. Likely sigil powder, which is used for crafting. I see, okay. Enchanting items similar to the Mystic in Diablo 3. Enchanting lets you replace an unwanted affix.
So there's quite a bit of info there. Enchanting items, similar to Mythic Diablo, replace unwanted affixes on rare legendaries. Only one affix can be chosen to be replaced, but it can be rerolled indefinitely. So that's good. So you can just, if you've got like one bad affix, you can roll it out. So, I mean, that's a positive. So there was actually quite a bit of information in there with the crafting system. I feel like, I mean, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. It's just a traditional crafting system, just kind of made to kind of work in that ARPG style. It doesn't sound, exactly, that's what I was thinking, Striker. Like, I didn't really think it sounded that much different. It just sounds like it's a little bit fleshed out. There wasn't anything in there that I didn't expect to hear or that I thought was a bad thing. I mean, I'm excited for it. We'll get in, we'll try it out here in the beta in, what, a couple weeks, a week, in 2 weeks? So we'll get in and we'll try it after the beta. And that's that. So that is the crafting system sort of information for Diablo 4.